Most obituaries are not a source of laughter. They can be rather jejune, if you will. Usually something sweet or maybe milquetoast is said about the dearly departed before bidding them adieu to the great beyond. Such was not the case recently for a North Iowa man. Tim Schrant made his last inappropriate comment on March 29th, 2019. And if you are wondering if you had ever met him, you didn't, because you would remember. For those of you who did meet him, we apologize, as we're sure he probably offended you. He was world-renowned for not holding back and telling it like it is. Tim was born in 1955, 100 years too late. Given Tim's demeanor, he would have been the perfect weathered cowboy in the Old West, or a rough and tough pioneer, or maybe he should have just been Amish. Tim was the fourth of 8 kids, the bottom rung of the top tier of the big kids. What does this mean? Instead of taking his place on that rung, listening to the older kids and doing as he was told by his older siblings, he decided to anoint himself king of the 4 little kids. Tim spent his childhood and early adulthood ordering them around and, in general, tormenting them. He was a great orator, not like Shakespeare, but more like Yogi Berra, the baseball announcer, baseball player, as he always had something to say, and he always had to get in the last word. His position as king and orator was challenged by the nuns at St. Wenceslas School in Spillville. He may have met his match there. We're not saying that the nuns won, but they put up a good fight, and we do mean literally. He got into a fisticuff with a nun. In fairness, she probably started it. He didn't take a swing at Tim and not expect one back. Tim's fondness for authority, his own, not others, followed him to high school and later into the Army. This provided for many interesting episodes and stories, detentions and demotions, and a few run-ins with the law, not just locally, but globally. Tim worked in Decorah as a tool and die maker for 30-plus years. Tim worked with many friends and a bunch of morons. His words, not ours. Well, not exactly his words, because that would have included a bunch of swear words as well. Tim leaves behind a hell of a lot of stuff that his family doesn't know what to do with. So if you are looking for a Virgin Mary in a bathtub shrine, you Catholics know what we're talking about here. You should wait the appropriate amount of time and get in touch with them. By the way, tomorrow would be just fine. Now, he will be missed and left to keep the stories alive, but damn, there won't be any new material, or his mother Mary and siblings and many nieces, nephews, and cousins. It's not that he was such a great storyteller, it's that he was the story. To his siblings' amazement, he was actually able to snag a good woman, Cheryl Murray, and hold on to her for the past 13 years. And as far as we know, restraints were not used. He will be having a reunion with his many family members who passed before him. Tim was in charge of getting the beer and ice for our family reunions, so they will be happy to see him there in heaven. A common line in obituaries is he never met a stranger. In Tim's case, he never met a rule he couldn't break, a boundary he couldn't push, a line he couldn't cross, and a story he couldn't stretch. And another common obituary phrase is, he'd give the shirt off his back. Well, Tim was prepared to do just that, and he could do it quickly because he always wore his shirts unbuttoned 3/4 of the way down. Tim was anything but common. Despite his crusty exterior, cutting remarks, and stubbornness, there is actual evidence that he was a loving, giving, and caring person. That evidence is a deep sorrow and pain in our hearts that his family feels from his passing. Tim led a good life and had a peaceful death, but the transition, it was let's just say it starts with a B, okay? And for the record, he did not lose his battle with cancer. When he died, the cancer died, so technically, it was a tie. He was ready to meet his maker. We're just not sure the maker is ready to meet Tim. Good luck, God. We are also considering establishing a GoFundMe account for G. Heilman Brewing Company, the brewers of old-style beer, as we anticipate they are about to experience significant hardship as a result of the loss of Tim's business. Please do keep them in your thoughts. Mr. Toastmaster.